Hi, my name is Amber and I'm here to talk to you about Down syndrome, the prevalence, the cause, and ways to help students with Down syndrome in the classroom. 1 in every 700 babies is born with Down syndrome, so that means roughly about 6,000 babies are born with Down syndrome each year. Down syndrome is the most common chromosomal condition there is. Down syndrome is seen in all economic and ethnic backgrounds. Older women are more likely to give birth to a child with Down syndrome, and we will get into why this is later. The cause of Down syndrome is a random error in cell division that results in an extra copy of chromosome 21. This is called non-disjunction. The top row is a picture of what somebody's genes who does not have Down syndrome looks like. There's 2 of the 18th gene, 2 of 19, 2 of 20, and 2 of 21. On the bottom is what it looks like, is what somebody's genes with Down syndrome look like. There's 2 in 18, 2 in 19, 2 in 20, but then there's 3 in 21 compared to the 2, which would make you not have Down syndrome. So the third 21st chromosome is what causes somebody to have Down syndrome. Most of the time this error is random and it occurs at the formation of the sperm or the egg. More than 90% of the cases of Down syndrome, the extra copy of chromosome 21 comes from the mother's egg. So that is why it is more likely as women get older that they will have a child with Down syndrome, because most of the time it comes from the egg and not the sperm. Now we're going to talk about ways to help students with Down syndrome in the classroom. Students with Down syndrome are visual learners, so a way a teacher can help a student with Down syndrome would be to use visual cues and objects to pair spoken word to pictures. Students with Down syndrome may also suffer from hearing loss. It is important for teachers to use simple directions and also break those directions down into smaller pieces. If the directions are really loud or really long, the student may not be able to hear, it may not be loud enough, or they may not remember the whole direction since it's so long. Students with Down syndrome also have short-term memory deficits, so they may not remember the beginning, middle, or end of what you're saying to them. So it's important to break it down and add pictures so it really goes into their head. It is also important to allow for adequate response time. For students with Down syndrome, it may take them longer to get started or to complete their work. Students with Down syndrome are also not proficient in auditory processing and auditory memory. So again, it's very important to present the information visually by using posters, projectors, charts, videos, anything visual to pair those words with pictures. Since students with Down syndrome have hearing loss and they have memory problems, it's very hard for them to retain information that is only processed verbally. So one way to help a student with Down syndrome in the classroom is to use a visual schedule. So little pictures as a schedule paired with words to help them remember their next steps. Students with Down syndrome also have a slower rate of learning compared to their peers. So a general education teacher might assign fewer problems to a page compared to their peers. Give the student freedom to choose their activities. So instead of writing an essay or taking a multiple choice quiz, the student might make a poster, a video, maybe some artwork, or a play to show the information that they know. So when a teacher is giving independent work, it's also important to divide the work into smaller segments so they can get some work done, take a break, and then get right back to work. It can be overwhelming if it's like a big long test or worksheet for the students to do. And then it's also important to allow extra time for completion. So a general education teacher can have, after you finish your independent work, go do a puzzle, or you can take a break quietly while the other students are finishing. That's it.